to the Blue Dolphin News Network.
I am Dwayne.
And I am Anaya. Please stand for the flag salute. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for our school motto. Be safe, live responsibly, understand, respect, and encourage each other. Go Blue Dolphins! You may be seated.
Good morning, amazing human beings. I am so excited to be here with you today. I hope you had a restful night. I hope you got up ready to conquer whatever today's going to look like. And I want it to be a powerful day, right? You can create the type of day it's going to be. Today, I'm going to share a book. And it's funny because I think Miss Messiah loves this book. She's told me about it, and it's called Those Shoes. And I really love this book because it's a book about like empathy. It's a book about being thankful for what you have. And even if what you have you feel is not enough, being able to give from that, right? And that really opens your heart to be a heart of love, to be a heart of giving, to be a heart of thankfulness, right? Because when you stand in a place where you're like, okay, I'm thankful for what I have, I can appreciate what I have, then that's really powerful, right? That's really powerful because it opens the door for a whole lot of other things to happen and come your way. I'm going to share my screen. And we are going to watch the book, Those Shoes, read to us. And then we're going to go back. We're going to go into our kindness challenge for this month. I'm going to share that with you.
Those Shoes by Maribeth Boltz, illustrated by Noah Z. Jones. I have dreams about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. There's no room for want around here. Just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now, not me. I was always the fastest before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. Then one day, in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfred, the guidance counselor says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size, Velcro, like the one my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid ever watched. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfred shoes and laughs, and so do Terrence, Brandon T, and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfred." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes. But when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight on my pencil, I think it might bust. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I got a little bit of money set aside. Might be enough. You never know." At the shoe store, Grandma turns the shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. "Maybe they wrote it down wrong," I say. Grandma shakes her head. Then I remember the thrift shops. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoes except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop. I see something in the window. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. How exciting, Grandma says. What size are they? I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. I don't know, but I think they fit. Grandma kneels down on the floor and feels for my toes at the end of the shoe. Oh, Jeremy, she says, I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit. I pull the other shoe on and try to walk around. They're okay, I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will fall off right then and there, but my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway with my own money, and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. At home, a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my 2 big feet shuffling around in my 2 small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say. Grandma gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Alfred's to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up, and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at my Mr. Alfred's shoes. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think, I'm not gonna do it. We leap off the swings. I'm not gonna do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I'm not gonna do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. That night, I'm awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door, push the doorbell, and I run. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face and mad when I look at my Mr. Alfred shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere, there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change it to your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then I remember what I have in my backpack. New boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. Let's race.
So what I love about the story, those shoes, is that it really just comes from a point of, right, it's a child that really wanted shoes. And you know what? His grandma wasn't able to afford to get him those shoes, which was okay because he had a roof over his head. He had everything he needed. That was not a need, those shoes. It was a want. It was something he wanted, not necessarily something he needed. What he needed was those black boots, right? But he was so sweet and so kind to be able to find a pair of shoes and then decide that they don't fit. I bought them anyway. Let me re-gift them or repurpose them and give them to someone else. So I think that was a really sweet story about empathy, about putting yourself in someone else's shoes and really just showing kindness. Make sure that's something that we show to each other every single day. Whatever words leave our mouth need to be words that are kind to each other, that uplift each other, and be open to receiving those words as well. Have a great day.